Hi, my name is Pawan, and I'm a lawyer, and I teach intellectual property law. That's my specialization in Tallinn University of Technology, and a lot of other subjects as well, including digital laws and internet-related aspects of law.
Could you first tell us what the TTBER is and why it matters to companies and innovators?
Well, this is a part of block exemption regulations that the European Commission has introduced. And well, there are two types, vertical as well as horizontal. And well, the TTBER, the Technology Transfer Block Exemption Regulation, is specific because it deals with the exception under Article 101 of the Treaty for the Functioning of the European Union. And it allows for the transfer of technology in various ways, and it sort of regulates the monopolistic and cartelization behavior that can sometimes arise in imperfect symmetries.
Looking at the current TTBER, what do you see as its biggest strengths and where has it fallen short in practice?
Well, the TTBER is coming to the end of its life term in this particular format, and next year the new TTBER is going to be enacted. Now, it's very interesting that in the last 10 years, so much has changed in the digital single market, and it was quite logical that the old TTBER, which is still ongoing until the end of this year, has fallen behind in the context of digital issues. The TTBER has been very pivotal for defining what is a market, what is market share, and how to determine what is monopolistic behavior in the terms of percentages and certain do's and don'ts. But now, after the Digital Services Act and the Digital Markets Act was passed, it is very clear that one glaring omission is the definition of a digital market and digital market shares. As we all know, there's been so much that's been going on with respect to these large online platforms, and their regulation is becoming central to our understanding of the digital single market. And so the old TTBER, as it still exists, has fulfilled its role in the non-digital sense, but now the new TTBER, which comes in from 2026, is hopefully going to deal with issues regarding the digital markets.
The European Commission has published a draft of the revised TTBER and updated technology transfer guidelines. What are the key changes we might expect, even if things are not finalized yet?
Well, the main focus is still on the digital markets and the understanding of cartelization in the context of the digital single market. And we are in an interesting phase because these draft guidelines are prone to changes. And so it is very important that we do not focus too much on what is being discussed at this stage until the final versions are ready. There is a lot of lobbying that will happen from the US technology firms to the big companies that are online. There will be a lot of push and pull because of the contradictions within the various definitions of online platforms, and whether they are online content sharing service providers or gatekeepers or very large online platforms or very large online search engines. So what we have now is this weird situation where too many cooks are spoiling the broth, so to say. And well, it's difficult to actually make any predictions at this stage because there could be some last minute changes even into the early part of 2026.
How will the new TTBER impact businesses who wish to conduct technology transfer agreements?
Well, this remains to be seen how they can uncork the bottle or get this genie out of the bottle and then back into the bottle. There are a lot of situations arising What's important to keep in mind is that the Digital Markets Act already exists, and so the TTBER will be an extension of the Digital Markets Act, and we have to keep an eye open for this. But again, it's too early. There is not much in the form of academic literature or scientific literature, so we really have to wait and watch and try to be patient about this.
And lastly, what kind of opportunities or challenges do you think Estonia or Baltic tech companies might face under the new TTPER?
Well, the previous versions of the TTBER have shown that technology-driven companies, which are monopolistic in nature, tend to be old, established companies. There have been a lot of changes because of the new digital waves, and so the bigger companies are still the companies such as Alphabet, Google, or Meta, or Facebook, or Apple, or Microsoft. So the predominance of these American-based digital platforms and their companies, their holding companies, the stranglehold is increasing by the day. And it remains to be seen how smaller companies and marginal players can play a role in this digital market. At the stage right now, the situation is not very rosy, either for the European Union as a whole or for member states such as Estonia, because they really don't have these billion-dollar or trillion-dollar companies that are here to stay and are able to completely distort the common market in the digital format.